Hi, this is Rob Sheen with the Source Conference, and I'm here with Garett Montgomery, who is a security researcher at the Application and Threat Intelligence Group at Keysight. And he's going to be speaking at Source Austin on December 5th and 6th. And his talk is on target-based security model mapping attacks to controls. So Garett, I'm curious, how is the new target-based security model different than what we currently do?
Well, what I found is that there's not really a good way to identify the right controls for specific attacks. If somebody asks you, as we frequently get asked as security professionals, what's the best way to block something?
Mhm.
Well, there's not really any accepted vendor neutral standardized way to say you should do it with this type of device or this type of control. That just doesn't exist. And we kind of stumbled upon something while doing research for a product that we're developing ourselves, and we think it can kind of fill that need.
Got it. Now, you mentioned in the abstract, you mentioned that it's similar to the OSI model. Now, for those who haven't been in a computer science class in a while, if you could give them the 30-second overview of what OSI is first, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So OSI is a breakdown of the data sent in packets that uses a layer-based model to kind of identify the parts of a packet that contain information relevant um, to be used for different devices. Like you have IP information at layer 3 that's down at the bottom, and it'll be processed by routers determining which host it should go to. Then you'll see some port information or presentation information, which once it's on that host, determines where that data gets sent to what service is processing it on the host. And then even further up the stack, you have additional metadata for further sending the data to the right place. So this is similar in that we have a layer-based approach where you assign controls based on where the bad part is within the packet that's being sent.
Got it. Yeah, I think the thing that I hear most people talk about with OSI is the difference between layer 3 and 4, so application versus network layer.
Yeah.
Um, but with yours, what are some examples that you said it's layers based on where the bad data is sent? Is that mapping to OSI, or is it a different layered model that you've come up with?
So it's very similar. We've kind of condensed some and renamed others because for the most part, devices that deal with layer 3 and layer 4 IP address and port information, they're going to be the same devices. So they don't really need to be separated. We have a logical separation, but essentially, network layers in our model are going to be processed by certain kinds of devices. And if there are attacks targeting the services that use those, they'll be seen by devices that operate at that layer.
I see. Now, what would be an example of a target within your model that you would have a specific control for?
So an example is some of the older attacks you may have heard of that targeted IP processing engines, network services. You would have a options field, an IP options field with a really long string. It'd be a buffer overflow. That's a layer 3 attack. And if you have a device like a WAF, web application firewall, that's inspecting HTTP traffic, it's never going to see that. And it's easy to see with, say, a layer-based model to show that WAFs, the web application protocols, they inspect web traffic. They don't look at network or layer 3. So if you have an attack against a layer 3 device, it's only going to go as far as, say, the first layer 3 device that processes it.
Hmm. So basically, you're for any given attack, you're basically kind of mapping out here are the various different ways that one could defend against this. Is it kind of meant to be meta like that?
Exactly. You have a certain part that's bad. It's at a certain level in this layered model, and if you have a device that can read anything at that level or below, you could use it to block an attack.
Cool. So who's the kind of the target audience for this? Is this generally who would be using this? Is it security
That
researchers,
that's a really
consultants?
good question. Um, for our use case, we were developing a product where we had a certain kind of attack, and for each of these attacks, we wanted to say this is the right kind of device you should be using. You would use this device or this attack to test how well a device performs against it. We didn't want to assign or test certain devices against the wrong kind of attack, so we came up with a classification system. And at some point we realized, hey, this is actually a thing, and it could be useful outside the scope of what we're trying to do. So I don't necessarily yet have a target audience in mind. It's just one of those eureka moments. You want to share it with as many people as possible and hope that it. Finds a home and maybe gets published, or people start gravitating towards, like, let's all use the same terminology. Let's all think about things in a way like this that kind of makes sense, so we can avoid each vendor having their own terms and their own scoring methodology based on how they group things.
Are you releasing it open source to kind of encourage that?
So my intent has always been to produce a white paper. Unfortunately, I've just been caught up and haven't actually published it. I'd certainly like to get additional eyes on it. I'd like to put it out for comment. I don't know what else I could do other than that. It's more just like a mindset or a way of thinking about it. I don't know that it's so much a proprietary system that we would own.
Right. So it sounds like the kind of thing that once you do the talk, you can get some feedback from the community and then write the white paper, and then that starts to become something that people can then use as a framework for going forward.
That's the hope.
Cool. That sounds great. I love it when people, there was somebody else doing something around healthcare systems and doing threat modeling based on templates, and they've built out some templates for that. So so it sounds like there's a little bit of a running theme there. I'll introduce you to those guys when we're at the conference.
That sounds great. That sounds like a great opportunity to, compare systems and merge them or synergize.
Yep. Yeah, no, I definitely like it when people come together and start sharing and expanding what they're currently doing, so we're not all reinventing the same wheel over and over again, and at least we can invent some new wheels occasionally. Cool. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing the talk. And again, Garett's going to be speaking at Source Austin on December 5th and 6th. And if you want to continue the conversation with him there, he will be there, I will be there, and we're going to have a great time. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there soon. Thanks, Garett.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob. See you then.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.